Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 26th of July, 2022, and I don't actually have a whole lot to talk about today. I'm just going to go through my notes because I didn't even, I like doing these on the fly and then just talking through my notes. And so yesterday I talked about, Winston Churchill and Mr. Irving talking about a different version of history, one that we certainly have not been taught here in North America. And so I did add the link to that video now, and so if people want to watch it, it's on BitChute, which is a more secure platform where people can share more information that definitely gets censored and removed from like the mainstream social media. And so it's on there, and then you can just go to that link directly yourself. And I also have the Flat Earth, the long video as well, and I keep on getting in these debates on YouTube about this Flat Earth simulated reality, and people are just like attacking me. It is what it is, and I just keep on saying, like, look, just watch the video. It's not like the ones that you are seeing or searching for on your Google browsers, right? Like, these are like ones that you're welcome, right? Like, I'm giving you good information that actually has a lot of science and government data in it, and then a lot of like and then just like videos of fake stuff happening, right? Like the fake moon landings, and just showing how they were using ropes and cords and so many other things. And so it's just very like it's irrefutable, right? And even having cosmonauts and astronauts admit this, as well as other government leaders. Even in Canada, Stockwell Day, at least over a decade ago, like, he was talking about it a bit, and he hasn't discussed it since, but he was like also the one that was saying that there's possibly that we're possibly on a flat plane with like a firmament or dome above, like but also in a simulated environment. And so yeah, I don't want to like cause any like debates. Well, I mean, I do want to cause debates, but I don't want to like offend anyone by what I say in regards to ancient history and in all of our pasts, whether you have like varying different hair, eye, or skin colors, or cultures, or traditions, or religions. They're possibly a lot, there's possibly a lot of misinformation there, and certain groups could possibly have been here earlier or later, or in different areas that were not expected or that we were told. And then and there's always been a series of peoples that have either cooperated together or fine together, regardless of what anyone looked like, whether they be giants and stuff too, I mean, or other beings, right? And so like that spans the human race, I assume, or like there's different variations, I don't know, but all compelling evidence, again, even with proof that we have in museums and other places that are quarantined off from us, or contained and heavily guarded by multiple levels of government or private corporations, so we don't even have access to see these like large like bones, structures, tombs, monuments, like hieroglyphs, scriptures, ancient texts, or even like images with like different colors of things and more truths, and so just more compelling things. But anyway, so when I discuss things like I didn't discuss this yesterday, but it's not something that I saw at all on mainstream media. And so we've got someone named Seth Smith who only recently was back in the news, like not even really, and completely lied about his motives. But 2 years ago, he killed a 19-year-old Berkeley student, which was racially motivated, and he even said that fuck that white whatever guy or whatever. And he actually, like, as this child was walking, this kid like on campus, like this 60-year-old man who was of another color, like went up to him point blank, and he was planning this. Like, this was racially motivated. He had discussed with other people. So even witnesses, like key witnesses that were veterans or whatever, he had even stated that like this was something that was racially motivated, that there were suspicions of, oh, there's going to be an explosion. Like, there's been explosions around my house for like the last 4 years, and I'm so over it. But, because it's not like I haven't lived with explosions, though, I guess. Jeez, like, even in Afghanistan, there was, like, mortars, like, every night, I guess, if you're in, like, Balande or DDC area. Anyway. So, yeah, and he, like, no one in the media was saying what it was about. They were saying that they don't know, like, there was no motive that they knew of, and which was a lie. I think they didn't say anything about this being racially motivated at all. And then he was convicted of manslaughter. And so even though this was planned, and he discussed this like days in advance at least with people, and even said it himself, like he actually admitted this too, not at all in the news, which is so disgusting to me, because like this is what causes division and I guess hatred, or I guess amongst various groups of people, right? And I think it's a shame. Anyway, that was a huge ass explosion. So yeah, like I've said this yesterday too, but just in regards to the jabs, there's a lot more information that's coming out that's not being censored on Canadian browsers or American browsers, or it's people like me that are pushing this out and providing this information on Signal and Telegram to and on Proton Plus to multiple levels of government. Even yesterday, I sent information to Glenn Gowan, who is our municipal mayor, whatever you want to call him. All the emails and attachments and medical and governmental data that I've given to other people, I've like forwarded him the emails, and I'm like, here, this is what I've given to Pierre Poilievre. Here, this is what I've given to Leslie Lewis. Here, this is what I've given to like Justin Trudeau. This is what I've given to Theresa Tam and Jim Watson, and like you name it. Like, here you go. And like I forwarded, and then it has the timestamps, right? And these are all just good ways of tracking things too, just to make sure that they're like they pay attention, they start to take things seriously. Like once they realize that you're a little bit more organized and you keep things like records, right? Then they must feel more obligated to respond. I hope. He still hasn't responded back yet. There's a lot to go through, but I'm interested to see if he actually does. Oh yeah, and in the media more and more we're gonna see things like that like racial injustice is the cause of climate change and all these other things, and like they're trying to like connect like now like sexism and discrimination and transhumanism and discrimination of all sorts with like now climate change and like this green energy, like these green energy bills that are like not working, and even people that created energy bills, they actually voted down those bills because they knew they weren't going to work, right? And so like we just need better panels with better people in that are not that are more qualified, right? Because yeah, just like the lack of experience with AOC and Kamala Harris, like even just like again, like even with the U.S. cabinet, I just like I can resonate with the frustration that the U.S. is dealing with, because I'm very passionate about politics, and obviously they impact Canadian politics as much as we don't like to admit it, and we have some similar trends with our government, because we tend to align with the U.S. more than again than we like to admit, even with our political parties. And if and when we vote, you know, conservative, it's usually around the same time as Republicans, and anyway, and it's always like the same narratives. Yeah, so like I was reading a lot of interesting things about weather modification. No, I already, well, okay, yeah, and so like that was openly admitted in 1952, by the way, that government people were doing weather modification, and so like this is now like 70 years later, exactly, and there's a lot more of this happening, and so I do strongly encourage people to do their own research on this. Don't take my word for this, but there is a lot more information now online when you get off censored browsers. Go on Brave or DuckDuckGo and go on Proton Plus and search different countries if you want to make sure that you're not being censored. And then you can and then you can get like more data, and then there's like archives and Wayback Machine that you could look at and make sure that you get more original data that was posted and not like edited versions, because things are always censored, right? Like even when things are released on the interweb or internet, there's constantly adjustments, and even like when I was trying to provide scientific data to my family, for example, even last year over the vaccines injuries that I was seeing in the mRNA trials that had been debunked and so many other things, like even within a 24-hour period, it was either removed or it was redacted or retracted and edited, and like I was showing that too. I'm like, look, like you can't do that with scientific research, like after it's been peer-reviewed and everything, like how can you be editing it like after release? And it's because you guys were caught, like this like information is just too like significant, and the people like me are on it, right? And or people that are sharing it with me are on it, like as soon as things are released, because we have notifications and stuff like that for certain metadata as well, right? That we're tracking. But anyway, so I'm interested in ancient history, like I've said, but I'm also interested in humans and the body and anatomy, all that, and I've been doing a lot more research on wildings and wild men and wild women and their correlation with Sasquatch or the Abominable Man or all of these other like even werewolves, like they're all, I guess, associated with these hairy beings that Slapu, Malloy, Bazjan, Huron. I'm probably like really not pronouncing these names right, and I'm sorry if I am. But yeah, there's like a lot of different cultures throughout the world, like different continents, that discuss these like these large beings that were, I guess, like lighter skinned, but they didn't have hairy faces, but they had hairy bodies, and it was often like maybe like reddish or whatever hair for the most part, and they were apparently larger beings for the most part. And there's like a whole bunch of like weird things like regarding mysticism and cannibalism and like more like more strength, more power, and I guess but like I guess outcast to certain areas, or willingly living in other areas that were separated from other races because there was just like no ability to procreate or get along or whatever, or just lost history, right? Like just like just like with the resets that tend to constantly happen throughout the this holographic reality, the simulated reality. These resets happen, and then we just forget where we come from, right? And so like there could be these beings that are currently present day, like all over the world, underground, underwater, in mountains, or even like just in other remote areas that we just haven't re-explored again, and they could have like different capabilities than us, and I would be very interested to learn more about it, and then also to explore and to see this myself and in a relatively safe way. But like we got to take risks, right, in order to make significant life changes and life transformations. And so even Merlin and wizards and Mary Magdalene throughout history have been seen as these hairy beings, these wild hairy beings, whatever. I don't know, like different, I guess, like depending on the cycle or the period of time, the era would be how domesticated these beings are or not, and how utilized they are. And so like maybe Mary Magdalene, if you look at old ancient texts or ancient drawings, like more original ones, or you actually go to like different places that actually still have these that were not edited or done over, then you'll see that there's more and more with her being like having like no hair on her face, but like all over her body. And it's very, very interesting. I don't know why I talk about this stuff, but it's because like if we're being lied to about this stuff, again, like why would they not lie to us about a whole bunch of other things, right? So this is just like unraveling everything and like, I don't know. I'm just going through my notes just to make sure I don't forget things, because I don't want this to be as too long. Oh yeah, and even like I was talking about in World War I and World War II, there was like so many different events that even our own higher level officials knew about, and the other countries that we were fighting against knew about. Like these were intentionally designed to create chaos for people's ego and power and wealth. And even Pearl Harbor, and there's a lot of data on this. So again, do your own research. But that both sides knew that this was going to be something that was going to happen, and it was possibly intentionally designed. There's a lot of evidence that is out there. Again, do your research on this, that suggests that that it was planned, and that the U.S., again, this was like their way to involve themselves into World War II in order to justify, you know, like again, like using like so many different means to assist, you know, their alliances, and even with the bombs, like apparently these were not like nuclear bombs. Apparently these were like other types of bombs that did cause destruction, but that we're being lied to about like radioactivity and nuclear capabilities, and it's for money and it's for profit and to keep us in fear. And I still obviously have to do a lot more research on this. I'm looking at scientific stuff. I'm looking at credible sources on uncensored browsers, but still, like, there's just so much to unpack, and what they're possibly using as the explosives, and making the comparatives about the damage done, and then even comparing it to like old castles and ruins that are in ancient structures that are still like exposed to the environment, and it looks so strange to me now that it could possibly be even like these like explosive events that have happened in the past, like even from the water that caused like them to be darkened or scorched, and like earth to be scorched in so many different areas as well, like the soil and things like that. And so yeah, because like there's ancient ruins all over the world, more advanced than what we have now even, and what we have seen to this day. And so like obviously some of them I would suspect are either taken out, removed from this simulation to make it more convenient for like whatever trials and tests and research that we're here for, or it's just been like buried because of like multiple different liquefaction or mud floods and natural and man-made disasters and cover-ups in order to lie to us about our past, or because people just didn't know, and so that instead of just trying to like say, hey, I don't know, like, bro, they just made stories up and they lied in order to keep power. And yeah, like, why do you guys keep doing this when we can all just work together, right? And I'm watching the 100 too, and like there's just so much hidden symbology in there. I mean, it's also designed to like deceive us with like a lot of the propaganda that they intentionally, subconsciously feed us in it that I don't believe anymore. So I just dismiss that. But they have like these dark blood beings that are possibly not great people, but they pretend to be elite, and they could possibly be like AI of sorts that are just like, this could be like some kind of like oil or whatever, like unnatural, organic blood. I don't know. But they've lied to people for like hundreds of years now on this like new planet that was not new, but like this planet that was discovered by Earthlings. They're all Earthlings, I guess, but they've all like managed to like make it to this one survivable planet in this universe or whatever. After a certain period of time. But they've convinced the people of that planet that are red blood, that and null blood too, which null blood, if you search that, it's called golden blood. It's like the most rare blood in the world. And I say that we have like 8 blood groups, but we actually don't. There's actually like 45 or something like that, actual different types of blood groups, but the most common ones are the ABO and then the negative positive. And I've said this in previous videos about that have been taken down, so I have to try to say this in a way that doesn't get this taken down. But with negative and positive blood types and certain null blood types and others like that, there's no antigens, and O actually as well doesn't have antigens, and so or it has D antigens. Sorry, it has D antigens, and it doesn't have A, B, or whatever. And so this is these are things that build up immune responses. And so like I've asked friends before as well, and I've asked my doctors and my healthcare professional friends, I'm just like, why are we jabbing any negative blood types or certain blood types when we know that they would not elicit an immune response to this therapeutic? And no one knows, right? It's like fish kisses always, and I'm just like, what do you not know? Why? like this is why I can't be retired and like living on an island somewhere. I'm just kidding. Mostly kidding. But yeah, just going on all these things. I want to make sure that I get through my notes here. Yeah, like even like hidden in plain sight and hidden symbology and stuff like that. That like these elites or these other people, they oh yeah, oh my god, I go on all these tangents, but like these dark blood people, like these could possibly be like AI, or just like they're just humans, just like the rest of us. They don't have magical powers, but they claim that they do in order to have like eternal life. And people are willingly giving up their lives for these fake gods, these fake idols that don't have any more like superior capabilities in them, and they may not even be real humans. I don't know. I'm still like not finished. And even though they have like special, amazing, like very rare, or used to, or at least comparatively speaking to like what I'm looking at right now on this earth plane, they have what we consider to be rare blood that has no antigens, and so it doesn't build up immune response to certain things. And so, and it's also interesting to me that they look very healthy on the show as well. And so, like there's only, again, like maybe 40 something null blood people in the entire world right now out of 8 billion or 7 point whatever billion people. But yeah, so like having rare blood or golden blood on that, and then willingly giving that up to these races of beings that are evil, and like they're lying to these people just because they want to have eternal life, their whole family. So they download their memories into these like AI like USB sticks essentially, and they just keep on putting them into people's skulls, and then their brain or subconscious or whatever soul dies, and these people take over the host. But right now, the main character, her body was taken over, but she's actually still in her brain, and so she's fighting with this being. Like they're both in the brain together fighting, and so she's not technically dead like other people have been dead. I don't know. It's just weird, but this could possibly be, again, something that's like hidden symbology in that. Just like 108, you know, with 108 years with Rosicrucians is very important. They've gone underground for 108 years, and then they go into overdrive for 108 years. There's 108 beads of the rosary. There's 108 chants, mantras for various different religions, not even just the Eastern ones. 5 points to a pentagram, 10 angles of 108 degrees. There's certain significant events that happen every 108 years, not just every 138 years. But yeah. I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Yeah, so again, we're being misled about so many things. And so even like Stonehenge, like there's now claims, conspiracy theorists that are saying that like that what we consider to be like ancient ruins are possibly like newer, created in like the early 1900s to 1950s, in those decades leading up, and that even Stonehenge was only created in the 1950s. But I don't, because there's proof that there's like pictures of like different people that are putting up stones and stuff like that, but that could possibly be, again, just like propaganda, making it look like something it's not, in order to deceive us. Because, excuse me, if Isaac Newton is actually a real person that existed, then like he was talking about Stonehenge, and he was obviously, he predates the 1950s, so that already, like even in that case, debunks that conspiracy theory. And oh, what's the other one from yesterday that I laughed at? Oh yeah, like, oh, the people are like, even credible freaking accounts, again, like this is why, like, left and right media is all part of the same bird, the same phoenix. But they were showing pictures and talking about like Ghislaine Maxwell, but they were showing the German like MP like Christine, whatever her name is, just really funny. and yeah, so like that was not her. They do look very similar though, like that is kind of creepy. Like they do look very, very close to the same people. Really, really freaking weird. So I'm going on tangents again. A whole bunch of countries now, their leaders have resigned or got fired. I mentioned that yesterday. But what I didn't mention was like in places like Sri Lanka, they like, since WEF got involved, like they're not humanitarian, right? Like as soon as you see like where WEF gets involved in countries, it's always a period, like they're always exploiting poorer countries that have like good resources but like can't afford to manage things, and makes them controllable, and they've made things worse, right? So there's a whole bunch of countries, not just like Sri Lanka, but like so many countries in Europe and Africa, where they've been exploited for things, and then just well, geez, even like India and Pakistan. So we have so many examples. And actually, like, I will mention this as something that I wasn't gonna mention either, but like the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, he's going to multiple different countries now, trying to get alliances, saying like discussing like his own reasons why he started things with Ukraine, discusses the escalation of what he's seen in various other countries that are part of NATO and the UN and the EU and WEF that are being perceived as like threatening Russia. And like there's so many fair examples of this happening, right? Even with Canadians doing this as well, with like sending multiple government leaders to like the bordering areas, and in a defensive manner, right? It's like not humanitarian in any capacity, but like military and NATO and so yeah, it doesn't sit well with people when they're not aligned with these people intentionally, because Russia has tried to be part of these organizations now for many decades, and they keep saying no because there's money in it, right? And there's probably a reason why they claim that maybe they're lying about that too. Maybe they're not, or haven't actually like really tried to be aligned, and like that's all just part of the game as well. I can see that happening. Anyway, I'm just rambling on about things. Even climate change, I wanted to get to that again. I don't know if I did yesterday, but like even like if you look at the decades of like weather people discussing like the temperatures when they were saying that there was like record-breaking heat, you know, like you look at it now, they're saying it again, like record-breaking heat, but then you do the comparisons of the temperatures now to even like a decade ago or certain other decades, and like it's like lower temperatures on the same days. So we really need to start paying attention and realizing that the media, they don't even know what they're reading. They don't even understand what they're saying. They're just a mouthpiece, and with zero critical thinking skills. They're just a microphone, and they're just like deceiving us to get views and money for advertisements and things like that, right? Because everything we watch is designed as advertisement to profit only a few people. Yeah, like I won't talk about the fertilizer stuff right now because it just annoys me. It's all over the world. Oh my God, the nitrogen oxide that's being banned for the soil. Like if it's damaging soil to like huge degrees, then sure. But if farmers are what's continuing to do what they've been doing, at least from what I've done the research on, like in Canada and the U.S. and so many different other areas, even China, they are making progress on trying to reverse damage that they've done in the past, or that other people have done in the past to make certain areas more polluted or more uninhabitable and more, and they've made like more green zones and green spaces and lands that were like once like completely destroyed because of like, you know, agriculture and other means, and not just animals, plants too. People have to get like the vegans out there, like the soil, like it's agriculture doesn't just involve animals. I get where you're coming from. You know what I mean, with like wanting there to be like less suffering and harm, and people to be less wasteful. I'm totally on board with that. But don't pretend that you are not guilty as well in this, like in over consuming things possibly that is contributing to what's going on as well. So again, as long as we can cooperate and agree to disagree on things, and but do it in a respectful way, then this is how we can freaking like get over what may or may not be coming in the fall. But I'm not saying end of the world stuff at all remotely. Like again, that might be wouldn't even be the end of the world. It would be like a reset or whatever, and there would always be people that survive, because that's what we're here for. So yeah, so I don't think of that at all. But like I don't want to manifest it by even saying it, but bank collapse and stock market, you know, issues, and like more power outages, you know, and it would be blamed for, you know, other things, like just lie about things, or just like not make the actual correlations that are supposed to be made. And there's going to be more car alarms going off, there's going to be more security alarms going off, and there's going to be more frustration, and there's going to be like higher energy outflows causing more health issues, more electrical outflows is what I mean, of the electricity that possibly causes harm to us. And by possibly, I mean it does. Like there's a lot of science on it. Like I've shared it, please read it. And so when you increase the voltages in areas, and you're removing trees and other things that can help protect us from these things, it just boggles my mind. Oh my God, I go on these tangents. But I just wish that construction companies would take that more into consideration, and city planners and stuff like that too, that when people are having to like be forced more and more out to the rural areas, when they work in cities for the most part, you're making their commutes longer, quality of life poorer, more expensive for gas, and like again, like more time taken out of their lives for driving. Like that's a lot of hours, and it's not given back, right? And then the damage to the environment, the huge damage to the environment, and then the health issues that come along with just completely decimating like natural environments, ecosystems for a couple of townhouses, like and it's not even profiting anyone in Canada. We don't even own these companies. These are American and Chinese owned. Look it up. Just like so many other companies that we think are owned by us, they're not. So why do we Why do we allow this? And if we're so frustrated with what has happened in the past, with people like pushing themselves into our areas and forcing us out, because again, a lot of people have moved because of all the explosions that you just heard on this video, that's been going on in this area within 200 meters of me for over 4 years now. That's 100% fact. Yeah, like even I'm going to be moving because like this is not like, if you look like this is, it doesn't look, my tree is hiding things, but these heritage buildings are going to go down. And anyways, I don't even know if you saw that, but and behind those heritage buildings there's like more acreage, like multiple acres that had all just trees. There was no infrastructure there at all, just those 2 heritage sites on this huge land. But all those trees taken down as well. And now I'm just seeing rock and slabs of stone and dirt, and like there's no where there used to be like old ancient trees. And anyway, it's just frustrating. And I think that's all the news I want to talk about today. On that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.